about an IP address. Okay. And then the IP address classes, subnet mask. Okay. So default subnet mask. We discussed that private public IP address we didn't discuss, but we'll start from today here. Is 17 June 2024. Okay, we discussed about we're going to discuss about what is OSI layer, why it is important to know about a OSI model. Guys, OSI model is not any traditional model. Okay, we don't use like a system. Don't use any OSI model, any kind of system. It is okay. Any people, no one is using OSI model for their systems. Okay, but OSI model is for is a reference model for understanding how network is working, for troubleshooting, maintenance. Okay, to create a new model. So we use this OSI model. Okay, generally we use TCP IP protocol suite. What we use? TCP IP protocol suite. Like that, there is a lot of protocol suites are there, like a Apple Talk, IPX, SPX, like a novel network. Okay, different protocol suites are there. So whatever the protocol suite it is, the network we can able to understand using this OSI model. Okay, so if generally all globally we are using TCP IP model. Some organization use novel network. Some organization use okay, some novel network like that. They use it. So whatever they use for understanding this network for maintenance and troubleshooting network related issues, OSI model understanding is very important. This is a OSI model is nothing but a set of protocols, and it contains 7 layers. Okay, application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. Okay. So these are the 7 layers. Maybe some of you are learn in a other order, like a physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer. Certain textbooks itself write from the physical layer to application layer. Certain textbooks come from like a application layer to physical layer. Okay. So both orders are same. Only you should not interchange the order. Okay, like first I said application layer, then physical layer, then session layer, network layer, transport layer. Like that, if I interchange, the flow will be disturbed. Okay, so always just follow from 7 to 1 or 1 to 7. Both are right. Which one is you are habituated? So already some people learn about OSI model. Which model, which one they order they are familiar with it, so they can able to follow that order also. Okay. Only thing is so understanding of each and every layer, what is their work. Okay. That is the first thing. If you are very new, so if you are never hear about a OSI model, so you can follow this order: application, presentation, session layer, okay, and transport, network, data link, and physical layer. Guys, always it is we are sending first, right? When I open a website from my web browser, so I open a website, right? So it is I started conversation from my PC to the web server, Java T point web server. and I got a reply. So I send a request and I receive a response from the remote server. Okay. So when you are sending this, that is, it will start from the application layer. Okay. So when I'm sending, it means I'm sending a request. It means it is the request start from the application layer, then presentation layer, then session layer, transport, network, data link, finally physical layer. At receiving end, it receives. When it is receiving, so it will receive to the physical layer first, then data link layer, then network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Finally, the destination received and decide to give us some response to you. Again, from destination, application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport, network, data link, and physical. And we receiving that one. So that is again physical to application layer. So that's why it is. Both flows are important. Okay. So both are correct. And another point is when you are sending, just if you are sending, that's it is start from application layer. Okay, that's why it is always, it is better practice if you are earlier not practice the flow, so then you can start practice from the application layer to physical layer. Okay, so these are 7 layers. The last 3 layers we call it as a hardware layers or a bottom layers. The physical layer, the example of a physical layer is a hub, is a device-wise. Hub device is a comes to the physical layer device. Switch is a data link layer device. Router is a network layer device. Okay, and remaining the 4 layers is actually comes to the software layers part only. Means your operating system will do all this work at operating system level only. All these things will happen. Before I'm going to explain each and every layer, how I want to explain about these protocols. What are the protocols? Protocols comes under this application layer as well as all the layers. The protocols are important. Okay. The first important is our regular protocols. Is like what is a protocol? Is a set of rules. And exactly say what is a protocol? It defines what type of communication you want to do it. You want to do web related communication, mail related communication. You want to send a mail and receive a mail, or you want to access a website, or you want just ping command. Okay. Ping command, or you want to upload or download a file, or you want to synchronize your time with your device. Okay. Or you want to do authentication, or you want to deploy an application to the remote systems. Okay. So different protocols are there. Different protocols are there. So each protocol represent a what type of communication it is. Okay. So from your server and client, or client to the server, server to the client and client to the server. So they understand what type of communication they are doing based on the protocols only. For example, I open a web page. See, it's Java T point. So from my web browser, I use HTTPS protocol. So when I give HTTPS protocol means I'm sending a request to the www.javatpoint.com. I want a web page. I want a web page. Instead of HTTP, I use FTP. Then it is I want to upload a file to this server, and or I want to download a file from the server, or I want to do some ping command. See, I'm using a ping. Ping means it is ICMP protocol. Ping is a test command to test, make sure that you are able to communicate to the www.javatpoint.com or not, to the server using a ICMP protocol. It's only for testing purpose. From your system to the remote system, are you able to communicate or not? That's it. Okay. So what it is giving, it's first we got an IP address, then your reply from. Why it is not showing a website here? Because what are the command we are giving? It is ICMP protocol. The remote server understand you want some echo reply. Okay. Some ICMP reply you want to get it. So that's one it is given. Okay. So your protocols define what type of communication it is. Okay. Mail communication, mail related communication, SMTP protocol, POP3, IMAP type of protocols we are using. NTP protocol used to synchronize the time. So I am getting this time from my time server. This time, date and time I am getting, that is from my time server. You can see from here, just date and time. Why it is not showing now? It is hidden. They implemented a security on it. Yeah, now it is showing. See, it is my time server. If you look at here, time.windows.com. From this server, I'm getting this date and time. Based on my time zone, it is setting my date and time. Okay. It synchronizes the time as per the time.windows.com. If I change my time zone, automatically the time will be changed. Date and time will be changed. Okay. So how it will be changed depends upon my time.windows.com. Okay. It's a time synchronization purpose. LDAP, Kerberos protocol for authentication purpose. Okay. So my laptop is in the domain. So when I want to authenticate like my remote server, so then I use Kerberos protocol for authentication. SSH, TELNET, RDP. These are the remote access related protocol. I have a remote Linux machine. I want to connect to my Linux machine and I want to do some commands on it. I want to run some commands. I want to run some application in it. Okay, I want to configure my remote server. Then I use SSH protocol using a PuTTY application. Okay, so what is meant by protocols? It defines what type of communication. Defines what type of communication it is. Okay, so it will understand what type of client is requesting to the server and the server respond according to that protocol you use it. Okay. Server understand client request by the protocols only. Okay. These are the list of protocols are commonly used in the network. Okay. Commonly used. So if possible, guys, try to remember all the protocols, their function, and as well as their port numbers. Each protocol represent with a certain port number. HTTP port number is 80. HTTPS port number is 443. Okay. Yeah. Once again, look at the protocols and port number. I will shift my laptop. I'm getting a lot of heat. Area. Okay. Okay. So what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? HTTPS is secure because it's only HTTP over SSL. So what are the data you are transmitting and receiving? The data is encrypted in a HTTPS protocol. HTTP, no encryption. Data is in a plain format. Okay. Data is in the plain format only. What are the data you are sending and receiving? It's directly exposed. Okay. If someone is trying to tap your data using a HTTP, so they can able to read your data, they can manipulate your data. but HTTPS is secure. Okay. So that's why most of the websites, and importantly, the mail, bank accounts, these are highly secure data you are transmitting. Compulsory you have to use HTTPS. Normal websites, you can use HTTP, or a websites like internal use purpose. Okay. Even I have a OS ticket software I'm using, right? Web related. So I'm using for my laptop only, or maybe within my network only. So automatically it is HTTP. Okay. So I use HTTP. I don't not require HTTP. That much encryption is not required. But when it is go for a public or a multiple users or big organization that are using, so they go for a security HTTPS. Guys, understand difference between HTTP and HTTPS? Because that's the one question. No. Okay. Good. FTP protocol, port number 2021. FTP protocol used to upload or download a files. I have a remote server, so I want to upload a file, so then I use FTP protocol. In FTP also, we have VSFTP, SFTP for very secure file transfer protocols, secure file transfer protocols also we use it. Next one is SSH, TELNET, and RDP. All these three protocols are for a remote access purpose. SSH is a CLI based remote access. SSH and Telnet both are CLI. Command line interface, just like this one. Okay. So I want to connect my remote system. So I can use my CMD or maybe PuTTY application. Okay. There I can try SSH. So then I will try remote access. Right. But SSH is by default, it is secure, encrypted data. Data will be encrypted. SSH port number is 22, secure shell. Okay. So it is data is encrypted. Telnet is same as SSH, but no encryption. By default, Telnet is data. It is used to connect remotely. Okay. So you can connect remote device or a remote system, remote server. By default, no encryption in it. Okay. RDP, of course, it is encrypted. Remote desktop protocols. Usually, I have a remote Windows servers, okay, or Windows desktop systems. I can able to access entire desktop environment from my system using RDP protocol 3389 port number. SMTP, POP3, IMAP. These three protocols are for a mail communication. SMTP port number is 25, used to go send mails. If I'm sending a mail, so it is port name SMTP protocol. So the remote server understand you're sending a mail. Your request is to send a mail. Okay. For retrieving a mail, for example, you open a mail account, like you open a browser and you open it, and immediately it send a protocol like a POP3 or a IMAP. Usually it is IMAP. Okay. It send request to the server with IMAP request, and the server understand you want to see your mails. Then it will give retrieval mail, means mail will be delivered to your system. Okay. So POP3 IMAP for retrieval mails. Port number is 110 for POP3, 143 for IMAP. TFTP protocol. TFTP protocol is like FTP only, but it is trivial file transfer protocol for remote configurations. Upload, download their remote configuration. Like for example, I have a remote router is there, a remote server is there. Okay. So I want to transfer their configuration files. I want to configure, or maybe I want to back up their configuration. Okay. Or maybe I want to upload a configuration to it. So or download their configuration. Download means like a backup type. Okay. Or I want to deploy operating system to 10 computers through the network. First, TFTP will give that configuration. Okay. Then OS installation is happens. TFTP, Trivial File Transfer Protocol, port number is 69. Okay. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, port number is 6768. It assign an IP address to the client automatically. What is DHCP will do it? Assign an IP address to the client PCs automatically. Okay. So already we have seen DHCP, right? So I configured to my laptop IP address manually, but you have a more number of systems. 100 computers are there for at least take 10, 20 computers. For each and every computer, you can't go and configure IP address manually. So what you will do is use a DHCP server to assign an IP address to the devices automatically. In your home, you have a Wi-Fi router. Even myself, in my home, I have a Wi-Fi router. When I connected, when I connected to my Wi-Fi router, so my Wi-Fi router is giving IP address to me. Last class I showed my IP address, right? And now again I'm showing this IP address once again. See, it is last time it is 170.16.194.68. Now if you see, the IP address is different. How it is different? For my Wi-Fi, why it is different? Because it automatically changed my IP address when I connected to my DHCP server. Automatically. Okay. My router is giving an IP address to my lab. Another one is DNS protocol. Port number is 53. Okay. DNS port number is 53 gives IP address of a domain or a host to the client. What is DNS? Domain name system. When I open this site, I have to communicate with IP address only. As I said, all communications by IP address only. So I have to type the IP address of www.javatpoint.com server IP address I have to type. But I don't know the IP address, right? How can I know? So there are so many websites are there. So it is a mail.google.com. This is whatsapp.com. This is docs.google.com. So many servers. I cannot remember. I cannot note down every server I want it. Okay. I have to follow the dictionary. I have to search in the dictionary. Then I find it. Then I have to type it. Manually, I'm not doing it. Automatically, I am getting it. From where? From DNS server. So there is a DNS server. So when you type a server name here, and you will get an IP address automatically from the DNS server. Okay. If you look at here, IP config /all, you will find a DNS server address here. So this is DNS server address. So the request automatically system send a request to this IP address to the DNS server. Who is this? This is okay. System send a request to the DNS server and ask for I need a IP address of www.javatpoint.com IP address. This DNS will give an IP address of that domain in the IP address of that host in the domain. Okay. IP address of the host in the domain. Okay. Host in the domain. Host or a server. Which is in the domain. which is in some domain. To the client. Okay, guys, understand? DHCP, DNS. Okay. What is NTP? Network Time Protocol. Already I explained. I got this date and time from the time.windows.com. You can also check it. It is used to synchronize time with a time server. Example, time.windows.com. From this server, okay, my time will be synchronized. Okay, Kerberos and LDAP. These are for authentication purpose. You are using your laptop. So when you open your laptop, you can see you power on your laptop. System is booted, right? Post operation, everything is completed. Finally, you got a login screen. You got username and type the password. You got authenticated. You can log into your PC. Who is going to authenticate your system? Your system only, because your username password is in your system only. But in organization, for example, I'm working in the 70s. 70s is given this laptop. Okay, and this laptop is in their domain. So they have centralized server where my username and password is there in their server only. Okay, my username and password is there in their server. So when I type username and password and request go to the server, okay, when I open my laptop, so type my username and password, request go to the centralized server for authentication. It verify my username and password in the server and tell my system that is user is authenticated, so you can let the user to log into your system. Okay, so that is what Active Directory environment. Okay, domain environment or Active Directory domain environment means. Okay, Kerberos and LDAP for authenticating users, computers, any resources for authentication purpose. Okay. So Kerberos protocol majorly used in an Active Directory environment, Microsoft Active Directory. Of course, we'll go into that point also, maybe an hour later. SNMP. SNMP protocol used for a monitoring purpose. I have a lot of devices in my infrastructure. I have a servers, storage devices, networking devices, firewalls, computers in the organization, right? And of course, for network components, printers, okay, these are all devices are there. So what I have to do, I have to monitor, make sure that all these devices functioning properly or not. Make sure they are turned on. Make sure they are able to communicate. So, for example, one section of network is not working. One particular session, like a 10 computers not getting network. Why it is not working? So the related switch having a problem. This switch is down, that's why it is not coming. So immediately I know so where exactly issues occurs, and I can send my team so they can resolve the issues. Okay, with the help of monitoring. Already we have seen the monitoring and the service desk. So this is how it is. Okay, SNMP protocol, port number 6162. Okay, so these are the standard protocols and port numbers. Not only these guys, there is in the world there are a lot of protocols are there and port numbers are also there. Okay, I note down there is another 3 protocols and their port numbers for connectivity. Network protocols. Of course, I have a remote MySQL server is there. I want to connect my MySQL server, or maybe my application want to connect a database server, MySQL database server. So I have to mention the port number 3306 by default connecting port number for MySQL. Oracle database server is there. Oracle database server is there. So if you install Oracle database server application in your laptop, you can directly connect and use it. But you want to connect through the network. That is a server is in the network. So you have to connect it through your client application. So you have to use the port number is 1521. That's a TNS listener port number for a connecting database. Tomcat by default port number is 88 because we cannot say we can change the port number of Tomcat to 8082, some 9090 also possibilities there. But lot of web servers, application servers having 8080 port numbers. Of course, Tomcat is most general. Even some people ask what is the port number of Tomcat? You can say 8080. Okay, so these are the protocols and their port numbers. What is a protocol? It is set of rules defines what type of communication between server and client or client and server. Okay, depends upon the protocol. The server understand and server and client both will understand what communication they are doing. Okay, so you have to send HTTP request web server. Okay, remote one is web server and it will give HTTP response. Remote one is web server and you are giving SMTP. SMTP is a mail request, but this is not a mail server, it is a web server. So it won't give any response. Okay, it won't give any response. So why? Because of it's a web server, it understands HTTP request. It does not understand what is SMTP. Even it is understand, it won't give any reply because it's not a mail server. Okay, so between the server and client, of course, I have a one line is there that is okay. What you want to ask and to whom you are asking, what you are asking and to whom you are asking. To whom means which server? It is web server or mail server or time server it is, okay, or SSH server or DHCP server, is a DNS server. Okay, to whom you are asking and what you are asking. Which one you are asking? You want a web access, then HTTP request. You want a mail communication, SMTP request. You do SMTP request to the mail server. You give a HTTP request to the web server. You put a NTP request to the time server. Okay. SSH request to the SSH server. Okay. So it is the protocols. Guys, understand what is meant by protocols and port numbers. What happened? Some people left already. Okay, okay. So give something response, guys. You have any doubts regarding protocols, port numbers like that?
No, sir. No doubt.
Okay, okay, good. This part is little longer, guys. That's why I separated it. Okay. So first OSI model. In the OSI model, we have seen 7 layers: application layer, presentation layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. The application layer is the responsibilities. So in application layer, when you say application layer, is application part of communication, protocols, and their port numbers. Okay, server side application, client side application, and how they will communicate, how they will understand what type of request, where you put this request is okay in a starting application layer part only. For example, I open this web browser to open the website. Web browser is used to access the web access, right? So website I want to access. And I have to use the protocol HTTP or HTTPS. Client side I'm talking. I have a Outlook. I have Outlook. What is the purpose of this Outlook? Outlook is a mail client application. So I can able to send and receive the mails using this application. I can able to send and receive mails using this mail application, and I use to send a mail SMTP protocol, to receive a mail POP3 or IMAP protocol. Okay, and this is my PuTTY application. PuTTY is an application used to connect my remote system using SSH or a TELNET protocols. Okay, using SSH or a TELNET protocols. Now this is also I can use. This is another client application for use it to connect my remote system using SSH or a telnet or RDP or VNC, TFTP, sorry, FTP, SFTP. Okay, like this. Okay, I can able to connect my remote system using different types of protocols. So client side application. Application layer is about application and protocols port number. Protocols port number. So we'll define what type of communication. TFTP, FileZilla is one of the application client side. MSTCS, like a remote desktop application to connect your remote Windows server or a Windows desktop machine to access their desktop environment, RDP protocol. I said about client side applications, server side applications also there. Server side web application, NGINX. NGINX is one of the web server application. Tomcat, one kind of web server application. Web server or a application server kind of stuff. Okay. HTTPD, Apache, HTTPD, Microsoft, IIS, Internet Information Services. Okay. Glassfish. All these are web servers. Okay. So what they will understand? Same web related HTTP or HTTPS communication. Mail servers, Microsoft Exchange application. Server with a Microsoft Exchange application is a mail server. What it will understand? SMTP, POP3, IMAP type of protocols only. Zimra application, Towcat, these are some applications are there, postfix. So these are applications are for mail communication purpose on server side. SSH servers like a remote Linux server, routers. These are SSH servers, telnet servers, FTP servers, file servers. Okay. So server side application, client side applications are there. And the protocols. Both are, these things comes under application layer. These things comes under application. Yes, anybody having any doubts regarding application layer? Okay. Then we'll go to the presentation layer. Okay. What is the presentation layer? Guys, in application layer, either you are sending or receiving. You have a data, right? You are sending or receiving. You are sending a request or you are sending a data. Okay. So you are sending either request or maybe you are sending some information or mail content. So you are sending something, right? It contains like a certain data. It can be in a different format. It can be DOCS format. For example, you send your resume through the mail. with a PDF format or DOCX format. Okay. Or you send some picture, your photo you are sending in a JPG format. Okay. So you're like that. So even your WhatsApp, you are sending lot of data, right? So text you send, PDF you send, photos you send, MP3s, MP4s, like a video, audio files you are sending, right? So whatever the data it is, it can be encoded into the ASCII format, ASCII to the binary format, binary coded decimal format. Okay. Binary format. That is, encoding, decoding happens at a presentation. When you are sending, you encode the data and send. When you are receiving, whatever the data you received, you decode the data into normal form. You compress the data and decompress the data. While you are sending, the data size is higher, so you compress the data. When you receive it, you decompress the data. Encrypt and decrypt. As I said, HTTP, no encryption. HTTPS, having encryption. So you encrypt the data when you are sending, okay? You decrypt the data when you are receiving it. Okay, this is a main 3 points about a presentation layer. Encoding, decoding, compress, decompress, encrypt, decryption. Okay. Here it is. Application, through application, you send a request using your with a certain protocol to the destination. Okay. So simply we open a web browser and type HTTP or HTTPS:// some remote server like www.w3school.com. Sending a request. So what are the data you are sending? That's called a PD. What are the packet? This out of your application layer is called a PDU. So whatever the layer it is, the packet data unit, the PDU, the name is PDU only. So different names it will change, but here it is the data. Guys, whatever it is, do you understand presentation layer thing?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Next one is session layer. Yeah, tell me. Okay. What is a session layer? The session layer is two major points. It's create a session. When I'm sending a request, a session ID will be created. Okay. So for example, I'm sending a request to my remote server for getting some information or maybe to download their web pages. Okay. So for example, it is a web related communication. I open a website. I'm sending a request. I want to access your web page. Okay. So first session will be created. And entire session means that whatever the data I am transmitting, that will attach it to this session ID. Entire data, whatever the data I am using here, it will attach my protocols, my what are the request related data will attach to this session only. Okay, and my user and authentication, my authentication information also added to the session only. Once it is received to the receiving end, means for example, server received my request. It collect all the information, whatever I'm sending, it collect all the information and understand that information by that session only. It check the session and see, so this is my information, my authentication. So it will verify is an anonymous user or is a particular username and password is given. Okay. So while it is receiving, it check authentication. For example, I open www.javatpoint.com without any username and password. It is anonymous user. Still it is check anonymous user. For example, I open my a website like maybe I send a request to my Gmail account with the username and password compulsory, right? So it will verify the authentication. Once it is done, so it is giving reply, right? While it is replying with the same session ID, and it will attach reply related information to that session ID and it will send to me. So once I received that information, the session is completed. So it is the session layer, create a session, maintain the session, and terminate the session. In the simple words it is. And it also do authentication and authorization, means whether user is verified or authorized to access or not. That is also happened with the session layer only. Okay. So, I want to give one example for the session layer. When you do any transaction, like you book a ticket, or maybe you are doing some UPI payment. That is, everybody knows that one. Okay. So UPI payment, you scan the code, you open your phone pay, you scan the code, QR code, and type, right? Then you click send, right? First it will fetch the QR code UPI information, QR code related UPI information. It displays that vendor's name, and the QR code related that UPI link also it is appears. Okay, then you type the amount and okay. Now that information go to your bank. That information go to your bank. Bank, when you given a password, the bank verifies your authentication and go to your bank details, means your amount, and debit the amount in your bank and returns to your mobile phone with that transaction ID. And again, it will transfer that amount. First, it will go to the bank, debit the amount, transfer the amount to the vendor, and returns that transaction ID to you. And it shows payment is successful. Once payment is successful, transaction completed, right? Transaction successful, transaction completed, session is completed. When you are observe it, sometimes it will delay. Payment is in progress. Do not press back button or refresh the page. Why you are getting do not press back button or refresh the page? But if you do the refresh, what happened? So once the bank debit the money and transaction completed, so it has to return to you for like a success progress, right? The session is changed. When you refresh, session is changed. It cannot get coming back. It don't know where to go because your session is different and the bank related previous session is different. So session mismatches, it cannot come to. Even when I try to book this Flipkart, Amazon, when you do the transaction, it take time. So meanwhile, you refresh, the amount will be detected, order won't be placed. Why order not placed? You refreshed it, session changed. Your order page session is different now, and the amount transaction different now. So that is the point in a session layer. That is the power of session layer it is. But for writing, it is only 2-3 lines only about a session layer. Session layer is very important in the network transactions. Okay. Guys, understand what about a session layer? When you are transmitting and receiving the information, your request information, protocols, entire information, your data, everything is attached to your session ID only. And your authentication, authorization information also attached to your session layer. You send a request and you received a complete reply till the time it has to maintain the session. Any interruption in the network, okay, small 1 second, 2 second interruption is okay, but more than 15 seconds of interruption is occur, the session will be terminated automatically. You download 100 MBPS, 100 MB file, 99 MB downloaded, small interruption is occur, and your download is interrupted. Again, you have to download it from starting. Okay. So there are a lot of stories about session layer, but we do not have a time to tell all the stories. But guys, understand what is session layer? Any doubt or anything? Only one is something giving a sound, but remaining is completely silent. From the day one onwards, guys, I am keep telling, don't be like a mookie. Like, I am getting confused, mainly your batch. Mainly, I never got this problem with any of Hyderabad batches also. Okay. So there is anyway uh, no test and all right now, right? So compulsory, guys. Every point is very useful while you are working, while for your interviews, while you are working, and as well as things. That's why I'm telling. Otherwise, I can go very fast now, problem. If you don't respond, I will go very fast then. Okay. What is a transport layer? Provide end-to-end connectivities. Transport layer segment the data. It chop the data into small pieces. What are the data from the top layer, like your application layer data, and application layer data is a data. Okay. So just that data will be encoded, compressed, and encrypted. So that data is given to the session layer. The session layer will add the session ID to your data, including your authentication details and your data, your whatever you're transmitting the data. The session will be added here. So for that data is segment into the small pieces. That is called as segmenting. So for easy to transport from one place to another place. And sequencing and numbering. So what are the data it is? It will be ordered when it is at a receiving end. Okay. Here I can able to do the drawing and I can able to explain, but no one is responding. So I lost my interest in your batch. So I cannot do it that way. Okay. What is this sequencing and numbering? So while you are transmitting a data uh, from source to destination, okay. So it will send one by one data segments to the remote. So when it is transmitting, it will also receive an acknowledgement from the destination. Acknowledgement from the destination. So then it will understand these packets are received. For example, this this particular packet is not received. Acknowledgement is not received from the destination. So the source thing this packet is not delivered. So then it will delivered again. Okay, it will deliver again. It will send only the specific part. Instead of sending entire information, it will sending that specific part only. So the destination received this data like this in a different order. Because of this numbering and sequencing, source understand what packets are received and what packets it has to send again. At a destination, it reconstructs the data packets in a sequence manner. Because of this numbering, so it will easily order the data into sequence order. This process is also, that's why it is transport layer. At the transport layer, error correction is happen. How error correction is happen? When you're sending a data, it segment the data into small chunks. Okay. And this data will be transmitted. If some of the data is missing, okay, and it will retransmit the data at the destination, reconstruct the data back with the sequencing and numbering point. The transport layer also do this TCP IP multiplexing. What is this TCP IP multiplexing? Guys, we discussed about a protocols. Some protocols are TCP type, some are UDP type. Some are TCP type, some are UDP type. Transmission control protocol use a datagram protocol. You have HTTP. HTTP is TCP type protocol. FTP is TCP type protocol. SMTP, TCP type protocol. DHCP, UDP type protocol. TFTP, trivial file transfer protocol. UDP. You know, DNS is both its TCP as well as UDP. Okay. So like that, some protocols are TCP type protocols, some are UDP type protocols. So what is the difference? Because this is a one of a question. Okay. What is the difference between TCP and UDP? TCP type protocols will send packets to the destination. The destination received a packet and it give acknowledgement. So then the source knows the destination received a packet. Okay. Of course, TCP, UDP, the synchronization, that's a big chapter is there. So it's simple to understand basic difference between TCP and UDP. TCP type protocols do the communication like this. It send a packet from source to destination. You send a packet that destination received, and the destination will send an acknowledgement, but stating that this packet is received. The source knows the destination is received or not. If source does not receive an acknowledgement from the destination, the source think this particular packet is not received. Again, it will send that packet again. Okay. Next one is UDP, source and destination. Source send a packet to destination. Destination is received or not. Source does not know. Source does not know the destination is received a packet. It's blindly send the packet one by one. Okay. That is UDP type protocol. TFTP, DHCP, DNS. These are all UDP type protocols. So TCP type protocol is acknowledgement based. Destination send acknowledgement to the source. Source send packet to the destination. Destination received a packet and destination send acknowledgement to the source. If source not received acknowledgement from the destination, source think this particular packet is not received by the destination. UDP, no acknowledgement. Source send a packet to destination. If destination received or not, source does not know. That's why the TCP type protocols we call it as reliable. DHC is UDP type protocols we call it as non-reliable protocols. Because source don't know the destination is received or not. Of course, TCP and UDP comparatively, UDP is a faster because it only send packets. It does not wait for the reply from the destination. Means like acknowledgement. TCP type is connection oriented. Guys, connection oriented does not mean wired or wireless. Connection oriented means there is a two-way communication is there. Source to the destination. Okay. Send a packet. Destination said, I received a packet. So it is source understand destination is received or not through the acknowledgement. That's why it is called as a connection oriented protocols. Connectionless protocols. Connectionless protocols. What is connectionless protocol? Source send a packet and source does not know destination is received or not. Like I'm asking, do you understand what you have any questions? No reply from you. So then I'm using a UDP protocol. I'm getting UDP protocol here. Okay. So this is TCP UDP differences. And what is this TCP UDP multiplexing, guys? So at transport layer, only 2 points only there. So one is UDP, one is TCP. So in your communication, what protocols you are using, that all into this, either it is TCP type, so it will go to TCP encapsulation, means like a multiplexing type. Okay. So UDP protocols in your communication, any UDP protocols you are using, it will be there in the UDP encapsulation. So it won't, in the packet, it won't give this protocol I'm using. So only it is TCP or UDP. Inside TCP UDP encapsulation, so there what are the protocols we are using, it will be encapsulated inside. Okay. So that is one important thing. So one of the important thing is TCP UDP difference. Guys, understand the difference?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Only one person is giving
Yes,
reply.
sir.
What about this? Very good. Flow control and windowing. Guys, my system is 1 Gbps, but my destination is 100 Mbps. Mine is 1 Gbps means 1000 Mbps. Destination is 100 Mbps. I can send packets very fast, but destination is slower. So it cannot able to accept the packets that much fast, right? So what happens? Some packets can be dropped. Possibility. Again, I have to send the packets because destination is not received. I don't receive an acknowledgement for the packet. Okay. So then I have to send it again. It waste of time, right? So what I will do it, the source estimate the destination capacity. How many packets at a time destination can able to receive? Destination able to receive how many packets in this particular time. Then what it will do? First, it will send some packets and check the acknowledgement capacity of destination. So then source understand, yes, this is the capacity of destination. So based on that only, it will keep on sending the packet. So lesser the drops, more accuracy, more data transmission is there. Okay. Again, guys, whatever the layer it is application layer, presentation layer, transport layer, session layer. Okay. So network layer or data link layer or physical layer. The data in the layer called PDU, packet data unit. Okay. So up to presentation, up to session layer means application, presentation, and session layer. Actually, there is no additional data to your data. Okay. That's why it is your PDU in application layer, presentation layer, and session layer called data only. No additional information. But in a transport layer, there is a TCP header is adding to your PDU, your data. Okay. So that total packet, that total PDU, we call it as a segment. What is meant by segment? There is a data from session layer plus TCP header to plus TCP header. So that is called a segment. What is the TCP header contains? About your protocol information, okay, about sequence numbering, segmenting information in your TCP header. So this segment is sent to the network layer. This segment is sent to the network layer. Remaining three layers are simple, but also important, guys. So what is a PDU of a transport layer is segment. Segment sent to the network layer. Network layer attach two major informations. One is logical addressing, means IP address information, either IPv4 or IPv6, what it is using. Source IP address and destination IP address is added to your segment. Plus internally the routing information, means how to reach the destination, which way you have to go to reach the destination. Okay, or a default gateway information or a routing information. So how to reach the destination information may add it to your data. Okay, so there is a network header plus your segment from the transport layer. Combinedly, that PDU we call it as a packet. Okay, that PDU we call it as a packet. What is this network layer header? Network header contains source IP address and destination IP address. Of course, we have some information about here how to reach the destination. Routing protocol information also added. Depends upon the type of communication. Okay. So this is a packet. The packet send to the data link layer. What is meant by packet? Network header plus segment. It is source IP and destination IP plus segment. It's a packet from your network layer. You go to the data link layer. The data link layer has two sublayers. One is LLC, another one is MAC layer. In case your communication is WAN type of connectivity, the communication, it is a WAN type of connectivity is there. Then WAN protocols information added to your packet. Okay. WAN protocols information is added. So WAN protocols are PPP, SDLC, frame relay, MPLS. These are all WAN protocols. Okay. As we stated, LAN and WAN. LAN is a local area network. WAN is a wide area network, right? That is geographically we defined. It's not about a size, guys. It's about the connectivity of networks. Okay. So how you connect two networks using a simple LAN cable. Okay. Or maybe you want to connect two different networks with a WAN protocols. Then it is a WAN communication. Okay. So with different WAN protocols are there, PPP, SDLC, frame relay, MPLS. PPP OE is point-to-point or Ethernet, like if you are using ACT, ACT, broadband connection, Hathway broadband connections. These are all used PPP OE, point-to-point or Ethernet, means to connect your network, your local area network to the internet. So they use this PPP OE protocol. Okay. So this is LLC layer. If in case you are sending over internet directly, so then if required, it is added the PPP or SDLC frame relay, depends upon your ISP. That information is added. Next one is media access control. In a LAN, in a local area network, of course, we are adding your MAC information to your packet. Okay. So your what is a MAC address? It is a physical address. It is the MAC address is on your any type of NIC. Either it is white type of NIC or wireless NIC. On the NIC, the MAC address is there, which is given by the manufacturer of that NIC. These are all we discussed last class. Okay, right? It is 48-bit in the binary, actually written in that full hexadecimal number, also called as physical address. And these MAC addresses, both source MAC address, destination MAC address is added to your packet, plus CRC as a data tail, it is adding. Okay, data header, data tail is added to your packet. Okay, the data header means source MAC address, destination MAC address, your packet plus CRC. This whole PDO, we call it as a frame. So data link layer, what is the outcome? Is a frame. That frame is sent to the physical layer. What is CRC? Cyclic redundancy check. It is used to error checking. What is error checking? When I received a packet, okay, when I received a packet at a data link layer, it verifies the data, make sure that data is good or corrupted with the help of CRC data. CRC is an algorithm. It creates data, it generates data, a small data from your existing data. From your data only, it is from your packet only, generate a small data, a small code of data it is to verify your actual data. While you're transmitting, so maybe data is corrupted. So what happened? When I'm sending it at a data link layer, the CRC algorithm create a code, CRC code, and attach it to the or PDU. So it is called a frame, right? So at a destination, at a data link layer, it use CRC code and verify your packet data to make sure that your data is good or not. Okay. What is CRC? Cyclic redundancy check. Use it to for a error checking purpose. And what is the outcome is frame. Guys, understand what is a data link layer? Okay. What is physical layer? The frame is sent to the physical layer, convert into bit stream. Okay, convert into bit stream. Okay, this bit stream means like a binary. Again, converted into electrical signal or radio signal or light wave signal based on the what media you are using. I'm using Ethernet, simple LAN connection, wide type of connectivity. It's an electrical signal. So I am connecting with the Wi-Fi, wireless radio signal. Okay. So usually my laptop is Wi-Fi connected. So the bit stream is converted into radio signal, either with a 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz type of. Okay. Mine is fiber optical type. Okay. For example, I'm using a web server. So that in internally in a data center, so there is fiber optical type of communication. So it will convert into the fiber optical channel. There is always one line difference. There is one single line, make all the things into yes. Guys, this is totally OSI model. If you see this one from the source, it is application layer. For example, I am doing only the ping command. Okay, ping command, or maybe HTTP or HTTPS, whatsoever it is. When I'm communicating from the source to destination, so this is the source. Okay, A is the source, B is destination. Okay, destination. Okay, first is application layer. Which application you are using? What type of communication? Based on that, you have to use an application and the protocol, right? Next, sorry. The layer one is application layer, so that's right. Next one is presentation layer. So whatsoever it is data is, you're sending, it will be going to encoded, compressed, and encrypted. Session layer, it establishes session ID and attach your session information like the data and authentication information is attached here. Next is transport. Whatever the data is, it's segmented here. And attach this TCP header, which contains your protocol information, segmenting, information sequencing order in it. So the outcome is segment. Okay. These are all called a data only. The PUs we call it as a data. This is called a segment. The segment sent to your network layer. The network layer attach a source IP and destination IP address to your segment, and you got a packet. This packet sent to the data link layer. The data link layer attach your source MAC address, destination MAC address, and CRC. The final it is frame. And then sent to the physical layer. The physical layer is actually your connectivity. So it convert your frame into bit stream. The bit stream again convert into electrical signal or radio wave signal, or maybe it is somewhere like that. Okay. So this is the physical. For example, I am using a wide type of communication, means UTP, STP type of communication. Okay. So this physical is connected to another physical through either hub or a switch. Okay. So whatsoever it is, either directly. Yeah. Firoz, tell me. Yeah, Firoz, you muted. Just unmute and tell me. I didn't hear.
No, sir, it's not me.
Okay. You raised your hand now, so that's why I think you got a doubt or you want to tell something. Again, this signal, whatever it is, the signal again convert into bit stream at physical layer of destination. The bit stream is again converted into frame. That frame is sent to data link layer. Data link layer, it checks the what is the MAC address, A's MAC address, destination B's MAC address is there in the here, right? And your packet and CRC. It verify your packet data using CRC, make sure everything is good. That packet is sent to the network layer. The network layer check the source IP, means A's IP address, destination IP address means B IP address, and the segment data. The segment is sent to the transport layer. In the transport layer, it'll keep the data segment information. It verify the segment information and keep it like this. And this side, I am writing one point, guys. Clearly understand. In the data link layer, see it is got that A IP address, A MAC address. At data link layer, it got A's MAC address. And at network layer, it got for first time, if it is communicating, so then it take A's IP address and here from here A's MAC address. So there is a table called ARP table. In the BPC, and there is a table called ARP table, Address Resolution Protocol. It maintains the remote device IP address and their MAC address. It helps to communicate. While communicating, we need two addresses. One is IP address, another is MAC address. But you're telling IP address, you don't know the destination MAC address, right? But this time, because using this table, when B is trying to reply, B knows already A's IP address. Now it is now A's MAC address. What is a ARP table? ARP table maps remote system IP address and their MAC addresses in their ARP table. Okay. So what has happened? Whenever it is learn the packet, it take the MAC address, it take the IP address, and create a table inside of a system. That is called ARP table, Address Resolution Protocol. Of course, I stopped at transport layer. Why? At it is stopped at transport layer and it receives all the segments. It receives all the segments here. Once every segment is received at a transport layer, it assembles all the segments into the sequence and ordering, and finally it comes with the actual data. Okay, transport layer receives one by one. Yeah, what is happened to this? Okay. It receive the segments because actual data is chopped into small pieces, right? All the pieces are collected at transport layer. That's why it is transport layer called as end-to-end connectivity. What is end-to-end connectivity? Whatever the data is segmented at transport layer and assembled at transport layer only at destination. This data is again went to the session layer. Session layer saves session ID and also verifies this authentication which this allow user to access or not. Okay. So session ID will be verified and authenticated and go for a presentation layer. Data will be decrypted here. Encrypted data is decrypted. Compressed data is decompressed. Again, it generate actual data by decoding. Next one is application layer. So based on the protocol request, which application data has to be go and react. So that's this application layer. So it will be received. Like for example, you want a mail communication, you send a mail and you send a mail request, sending mail request. So destination mail server application will take that information and see your required mail sending or receiving information request and it respond according to it. Okay. So that application layer at server understand what is your request, what kind of reply you required, then it will do it. So again, it is replying from here. Again, when it is replying, application to presentation, presentation to session with the same session ID and the network, transport, network, data link, and physical layer, physical to physical, physical to data link, network, transport, session, physical, and application. So this is how it is communicate from here to there, there to here. Guys, understand what is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, before I close, yeah, again, there is a few device kind of stuff I didn't complete. That's also I will complete it. Okay. As I said, OSA model is for understanding, troubleshooting, and creating network purpose. In a layer wise, we can able to understand. Okay. So, but generally we are using TCP IP protocol suite. For our networks, we use TCP IP protocol suite only. Okay. So what is this TCP IP protocol suite? Application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and network access layer. When you compare this TCP IP model to our OSA model, the TCP IP model also called as DoD model. In an earlier stage of research time, we call it as DoD model. Defense purpose only, earlier they used in US defense purpose only they used it. So later it is released into the public. TCP IP model came earlier than OSA came later. Okay. It's only for understanding level purpose only. The TCP layer, TCP IP contains application layer. This application layer will do 3 layers duty of OSI: application, presentation, and session. It's not any reduction. It is depends upon the layer. That's only names are there, but responsibilities are same. So application layer do application layer, presentation, session layer in the TCP IP. Transport is transport. What are the OSI transport? Same TCP IP transport, same thing. In OSI network layer duties, here it is called a internet layer. In OSI data link and physical layer. So data link layer function and physical layer function done at a TCP IP is network access layer. You know, I told about a hub is physical layer, switch is data link layer, then router is a network layer. But what about your LAN card, LAN IC card? It is as per the TCP IP network access layer, because your LAN card is physical connectivity and MAC address. These two jobs is done by your NIC only. Okay. So this is comparison. Next one is why we should learn the OSI I told. So one of the reason is for troubleshooting purpose. Okay. It's just simple to understand. The physical layer always represent physical connectivity. Network layer is IP addresses. Okay. Presentation layer is encryption. I open a website with the HTTPS because the site is HTTPS type on. So then we can able to come. If I try with HTTP, it won't work. Of course, it will redirect back to the HTTPS. Okay. See. Okay. So if both side encryption is required and compulsory both side encryption is there. Okay. So one side like a sometimes from your browser the encryption protocols are not suited, then you will get a unsecure website, unsafe. Why it is showing unsafe? Encryption is not suitable from your system to remote system. Your system date and time is changed and you are accessing remote website or remote access, any encryption related, you cannot access. It shows unsafe. Okay. So like that, that's different kind of stuff. Okay. OSI model for understanding it is for mainly understanding functionality and troubleshooting purpose. Okay, guys. So yeah, this is I think already I sent these notes. It contains how to assign an IP address. Okay, and of course there is a devices also there. We will going to discuss few points about networking devices and cables also. Okay. Then I will tell about, of course, it is 1241. Okay. I will give very simple information and then we'll also discuss about how to connect two devices and how to test that two devices are connected or not. Okay. These two things we will discuss. Just take 5 minutes break. Just a 5 minutes. Okay. Come back at 12:45. Later I will take more break.